What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj NBA, and today we're going to be talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Thunder in the Western Conference, they are 12th as of right now in record, win percentage, whatever. They've lost 4 games in a row, and they have been easily one of the most disappointing teams so far this season. I mean, there are only 5 teams in the league with a worse record than the Thunder, and those teams are the Bulls, the Hawks, the Suns, the Kings, and the Mavericks. The Thunder down there are the only outlier, really, in the Western Conference that we can look at and say, wait, they shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be all the way in 12th, and it's a lot like the Cavs. The Cavs, of course, struggling there right now, 5-7. The Thunder are 4-7, so kind of similar. However, the Cavs, the reason why I think we can have some hope for the Cavs is because they have LeBron James, a guy who has consistently proven that he can get over some tough regular season stretches and always get to the NBA Finals regardless of what his team looks like. Now, yeah, LeBron might be getting a little bit old, but we can still at least expect LeBron to make the playoffs and win a couple playoff series, against whoever, and probably get to the NBA Finals. However, with this Oklahoma City Thunder team, the reason why they could become the next 2013 LA Lakers is because, we've never seen this team. We can't really rule out the Thunder, being a first-round exit, not making the playoffs. I mean, we really do think that they're going to make the playoffs, even with a 4-7 start. We're barely into the season. I mean, we're probably like an 8th or a little bit more into the 2017-18 NBA season. So, of course, there's time to turn it around. However, usually you can tell how good a team is through the first 10, 15 games. Every once in a while we see a team start really bad, get really good, kind of like the Miami Heat of last year, or vice versa. You see stretches, you see teams, fall off or become really good, but it's not like that happens that often. And if Oklahoma City's team wasn't so stacked, we wouldn't be so sure that could happen. Although, for me, I honestly do think that they have it in them. However, they're 4-7. They've lost 4 in a row, of course. They've been losing to bad teams. They look awful. But somehow they have a good point differential. They're still plus 4.5 for each game, which is one of the best point differentials in the NBA. It currently ranks 7th in the league. So they're 7th in the NBA in point differential. However, they can't win any games. And the reason for that is the biggest problem with this team that we really anticipated it being. The big, if with this team is who is going to take that last shot, who is taking over down the stretch, how is the offense going to be run down the stretch. And they have lost, I believe, their own 5 in games decided by 5 or less or something like that. Like, every close game they've lost. They can't finish a close game. They haven't been able to do that. And it kind of reminds me of that 2015-16 season and the 2016 playoffs, the year before Kevin Durant left, where Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were playing together for their last year together, and that team choked so many games. It was like maybe a 6th or more, maybe a quarter of their games, they would lose a 4th quarter lead and lose or something like that. And they had easily by far the most 4th quarter meltdowns. They couldn't close a game for their lives, and we saw it come up in the playoffs against the Golden State Warriors, where they would be in control and then we'd start seeing Russell Westbrook make bad plays, turn it over. Kevin Durant, use the whole clock and chuck up a dumb shot and it was just bad. I mean, they couldn't do it, but we're seeing a team with Russell Westbrook leading this team that is not able to close games. And Paul George, he's a guy that, he's been infamous for not being able to close games and hit that shot at the end. So for me, personally, this team, they have their struggles. I mean, they have legit problems that they need to figure out. They need to do it in a rather, urgent manner, because you can't have this continue. You can't get used to choking games. You can't have this happen against teams that aren't good enough to, these teams have no business beating OKC at the end. Like, the Kings have no business beating OKC, period. So, I think, this is a team that they can make the playoffs. They could turn it around. However, it's even more important that they turn it around, because if this team finishes with 43 wins and they're a first round exit, Paul George is not coming back to this team, and he is hell-bent on going to the LA Lakers. That's where he wants to be. The only way he is staying on this team is if you are successful, is if they have a good record, have a good playoff run, whether they win the Western Conference or whatever they do, it has to be successful. They got to win at least 2 playoff series probably for him to stay, and that's a tall order. You got to get to the Western Conference Finals for PG to stay. Look, none of these are facts. I'm not saying that this is the be all end all, but Paul George really wants to play for the Lakers, or wants to play in LA. He really wants to. If you just have a decent year, it's not happening. He's not coming back. I would be very shocked if he was to come back after that, because these guys are built up to be this crazy super team that can challenge the Warriors. But if they just have a decent year, why is Paul George going to be convinced that that can happen? I mean, there's no reason for him to believe that this team can beat the Warriors in the future. Melo's only going to get older. And plus, like I said, he wants to play in LA. I don't think it's a good look at all. Also, Paul George hasn't been playing the best basketball, that's for sure. He's really not playing that well right now. They need him, and they need everybody. I mean, honestly, it's kind of weird how bad everybody has been, especially just shooting the ball. Russell Westbrook, he's a guy that he's been filling the stat sheet, but his shots are not falling. Paul George is not shooting well. Carmelo Anthony, same thing. No one is making enough shots. That's weird, because you'd think they'd be getting better shots, but they're just not making them. So things are obviously not working out right now. I think this team will get it back on track. However, we can't be sure. We haven't seen enough from this team to sell us on them. We know that they can get big wins against big teams. However, will they be able to handle their business consistently? I don't know. That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.